The Tinubu's administration lands Nigeria into bigger problem. Emilokon.
With respect and with reference to what exactly is Nigeria's, the country's debt position, there are three questions that the Nigerians are asking. The first is, what is the state of the debt? In simple terms, how much is money? How much does Nigeria owe? The second question is, why does the debt keep rising? Now, the third and final question that Nigerians are asking is, will Nigeria ever be able to pay back?
Nigerians, it don't happen. When Tinubu told Peter Obi, now statistics we go chop, I believe he did not even understand what governance is all about. He thinks it's just to get to Aso Rock and sit down and begin to dish out orders. But the reverse is the case. Now, statistics is highly needed by this government. So guys, take a look at some of the statistics being given on how this government has sold Nigeria by going further deep into debt. Take a look.
Many Nigerians love that song, but anyway, that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about how much money Nigeria owes. And of course, the Debt Management Office, the DMO, earlier this week released some reports, on Nigeria's debt status. What do the latest statistics mean? Where are we? What can you tell us?
So that the return of debt on debt is higher than the cost. What we see from this report, the amount we are paying as debt service is almost equivalent of what the federal government is earning in revenue. In simple terms, almost all of the government's revenue is going to service external and domestic debt. Let's take a look at what exactly has happened since the last dozen years. We're able to really compare our external debt with what has happened. Excuse me. Under Goodluck Jonathan, in June 2011, external debt $3 billion. He left it at $7 billion. In simple terms, external debt grew by $4 billion, an average of $1 billion per year. When President Buhari came in, the external debt was $7 billion. When he left, it was $39 billion. In simple terms, under former President Buhari, external debt grew by $32 billion, an average of $4 billion of additional external debt per year. The good news is that President Tinubu is doing all he can do to reduce external borrowings. So we've seen actually the external debt moderate under President Tinubu. He's looking elsewhere for source of income, not external debt. However, his source and his interest clearly seems to be domestic debt. See what has happened to domestic debt position under former President Jonathan. Domestic debt went from 5.2 trillion naira to 8.4 trillion naira, a growth of 3.2 trillion naira, an average growth of approximately 800 billion naira per year. Domestic debt from under former President Buhari went from 8.4 trillion naira to 48.3 trillion naira, a growth of 40 trillion naira, approximately 5 trillion naira of new domestic debt per year. Under President Tinubu, we've seen that move again from 48.3 trillion naira, and to this, what we see in this current report, 61.6 trillion naira. However, President Tinubu is saying most of these new domestic borrowings are really not because of him. He's saying that the accounts and the records are being changed and that they are now considering some of the debt that was borrowed under President Buhari that was not accounted for. So he's saying that yes, this government has borrowed trillions of naira locally. However, President Tinubu is also saying that they're having to adjust their accounts because there were some debts that were borrowed from the central bank that were not properly accounted for under former President Buhari.
So it is no longer news that Nigeria focuses on consumption instead of production. And that was the message Peter Obi passed on to Nigerians during the election. That this economy needs to move from being a consuming economy to a producing economy. But that did not even sound right in the ears of our political elites. They've taken over power. Now they don't even know how to navigate Nigeria out of the mess the APC has landed Nigeria right from the time of Buhari. You can imagine what is happening. Every day our debt profile keep rising. And this government is even talking about going to buy a private jet for the president, and not even one private jet. They are even canvassing for buying 2 private jets for Mr. President. Nigerians, this is why we keep saying this political class, all of them need to be retired, so Nigeria can breathe a little bit of fresh air. Let's go further in this video.
Going forward, Babajide, how can these statistics be improved? I mean, talking about our debt statistics, what is the outlook on borrowing as well?
We need to really focus on these numbers. I was talking about how easy will it be for us to pay our debt. And please listen carefully to this. In 2011, under President Jonathan, external debt was $3 billion. But then our external reserves was $33 billion. So we had a lot more external reserves. Today, our external debt is $37 billion, and our external reserves is still $33 billion. In simple terms, the value of our external debt today is greater than the value of our external reserves. However, what has happened is we failed to look at what are other things that could improve our position. Let's take a look at the final statistics, the chart of the week. It allows us to see how we've gotten to where we are. 2011, financial year, the federal government earned 3.5 trillion naira. Last year, we're looking at approximately 10 trillion naira, a growth of 186%. But look at those two other columns, domestic debt. It has grown by 852% under the same period. Look at our external debt, from $3.5 billion in 2011 to $37 billion, a growth of almost 1,000%. So what we've clearly seen is domestic debt growing, external debt growing, revenue not growing as fast. What is one solution? The one solution we need to understand is it is easy to borrow money, but it is not easy to borrow quality of governance. In simple terms, the government is throwing a lot of money at the problem whose solution really is we need better quality of governance. And so if we keep pouring money and pouring water into a basket, we wouldn't hold anything. Going forward, what the government needs to do is quality of governance. Those three words. That is what, if we should borrow quality of governance. Quality.
So guys, it is becoming clearer that the APC does not even know what Nigeria needs at the moment. They don't even understand governance. They don't understand leadership. Honestly, these people thought it's just all about, using INEC to manipulate results, manipulate the judiciary, take over power. Power, you don't even know what to do with it. And that is why we are where we are today. And people keep asking, what has the Tinubu's administration achieved in 1 year? There is nothing to hold on to that this government has achieved. And Nigeria is just on a swing, not even trying to stabilize itself. And that is why we just keep saying that, honestly, don't make the mistake of voting any of these APC leaders again into any position come next election, because they've destroyed this nation enough. I think Nigeria really needs to be relieved from the hands of our political bandits. I mean, our political terrorists who have taken hold of this country and they are not letting this country breathe. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you. The Tinubu's administration lands Nigeria into bigger problem. Emilokon.